I started my last day in Lisbon before the sun even rose. I wanted to soak up every last beautiful moment. That meant finding a breathtaking lookout to enjoy the sunrise. I passed the normally bustling areas that felt wide and quiet at this hour, like the city was resting before the crowds arrived. This sunrise felt like a small gift. To think I had almost left without seeing this view. The terracotta rooftops stretched endlessly, soft and glowing. I stayed for a while, memorizing the colors, the pale pinks, the gold, the blue water in the distance. I stopped for one last treat at one of my favorite bakeries. This whole day was about returning to the favorites and discovering a few new things. I chose a flaky, warm, sweet dessert. There was something grounding about sitting alone with a pastry and taking a pause in a place you don't live. Watching locals come and go, letting yourself just be there. Graka surprised me. Between old buildings and down a long staircase, bursts of color appeared, murals layered. The street art felt alive and imperfect. It reminded me that cities, like paintings, are never really finished. People keep adding new beauty. Another hidden gem was found today. Tucked away, there was a bakery. The workers were super friendly, and I let myself linger longer than usual. On my last day, I didn't want efficiency. I wanted presence. I had a few things to do in the evening, but I didn't have any strict plans anymore. I just walked, letting narrow alleys and tiled facades guide me. Lisbon is a city that reveals itself slowly, in reflections and textures and unexpected corners. I tried to notice everything. This viewpoint had a sculpture that made me pull out my sketchbook. Sketching forces me to slow down, to translate what I see into lines and shapes. It's how I take a place with me, not perfectly, but personally. I thought about how many quiet moments like this had shaped this trip. Not the big landmarks, but the little in-betweens. Later in the afternoon, I stopped at a familiar bakery, just for somewhere to sit, with a pastry, and to do a little bit more sketching. I continued working on my sketch as I watched the sunset at my favorite lookout point. For my last dinner, I treated myself to a vegetarian Indian buffet. It felt comforting and colorful, a meal that didn't try too hard, just honest, warm food. Ending the night at the theater felt almost surreal. Watching Alice in Wonderland in a language I didn't know felt slightly dreamlike. It reminds me of how travel bends reality, how you step into new worlds, briefly, and then step back out.